Hey, am I on? I'm on. Hi, everybody. Leslie the Little Plazz here. Plazz. Zazoo Plazz. How's everybody doing? I don't know if it's raining or not today. I'm out in the woods. What is it about? I don't know. Afternoon sometime. Afternoon. So, yeah. I'm alternating between my sunglasses and my regular glasses today. It's weird. It's weird out. It's like sunny and raining. You know, I went down there, and I was looking for my blue heron friend, and everything. And no, I didn't find any birds, but there was this kid out there, and he was hanging around the signs that my son, made a couple years ago for his Eagle Scout project. And he had like a sword, and he had the same high school my kids went to, and he reminded me so much of my boys, a few years ago. Maybe he's high school, junior, senior, maybe sophomore, that age. And he was just kind of wandering around in the woods out there. And so I said, no, I'll give him the space. So now these little kids. So I said, I'll give him some space. So then I ended up walking around the whole pond. And back here, now I'm all sweaty. I should have just, stayed here. Anyway, I might have company soon. There weren't any. All the trees are wet, so I couldn't lean up against any of the trees. So yeah, it's that tricky time of year. And yeah, I'm in search of a new place to do my reports because there's just too many people, too much noise, There's like people and kids and stuff like that. Maybe I'll go lean. No, I can't lean against the tree today. I'm gonna have to do my report right here. Hopefully they won't come in here. Whatever. Let them. This is what happens during the day. Oh, great. Little kids. Anyway, I'm just going to do my report right here. Hopefully nobody will bother me. Virgo. Yeah. Oh, September 10th, 2023, Zazoo Plazz report. Yeah, September 10th. So, the sun today is conjunct my natal Pluto. Any of you who know astrology, that's deep. Pluto is the planet of, even though it was dwarfed, it's still pretty powerful. So, all that forbidden stuff. Pluto rules Scorpio. It's all that hidden stuff that people don't want to talk about. It's that, dark, deep, underworld stuff, the underbelly of things. I'll just leave it right there. So that's kind of how I'm feeling. I want to just expose things, right? I'm tired with superficial anything. So, nobody's sneaking up on me. Creeps me out. 23rd Sunday. Ordinary time. So, yeah. So, today, Mercury's still retrograde in Virgo. We've got Ezekiel today. Prophets in Pluto, and Paula Abdul. Oh my. Oh my gosh. Powerful. The letter of the day is P. Brought to you by the letter P, like on Sesame Street. Yeah, isn't that funny? So, today, my husband, he still goes to church, and he's like the youngest person in the whole church. But he goes, and so he shows me the bulletin. Any good Catholic knows when you go to Mass, I don't even know if Protestants have this, but there's always a bulletin. When you walk out of church, there's a little, and I know it's online now, but, all the old people, they pick up the bulletin to read at home. Like his mother and my parents, my dad still. My dad goes to church like 6 times a week. I don't know. Anyway, but, for him, he goes to he's got coffee clatches. He calls it his coffee clatch. Is that with a K? I think it's a K. So, yeah, he goes and has coffee with his friends. That's the whole reason he goes to church. He just, whatever. Gives him an excuse, gets him going and out in the morning, and then he can take it from there, Without my mom, they're yelling at him to get up. Anyway. So, he shows me the bulletin, right? My husband. So, one of the priests has put a little ad. See, the bulletin has all kinds of, they talk about, they usually have, who the masses are for. People pay to have masses said for their relatives and things like that. And then you've got, little things that are, ads that are things that are going on in the church, banns of marriage, and that people died, and, from birth to death, the whole spectrum, confirmations and baptisms, and, and then you got ads on the back. People who, parishioners, or people who want parishioners to buy things from them. Anyway, so there was this ad, one of the priests saying, if you get an email from me asking for money or a gift card, it's a scam. Don't do it. And I thought, so he said, oh, I thought you get a kick out of this. And I said, yeah, so now, giving money to, and so who knows, maybe somebody's doing this and impersonating the Pope and saying, give money to the Pope, but it's really some guy in some undeveloped country sitting in a dark room, whatever, with a computer, or semi-developed country. You never know. Some nefarious person in some dark space somewhere, using the good people, God's people, taking advantage of them. So beware. So anyway, snakes. Actually, snakes are good. I don't know why snakes have been demonized. Really, I was born in the year of the snake, and there's some good snakes. Some that'll poison you, admittedly, but I think that the snakes have gotten a bad rap from the whole Adam and Eve thing. Just because they're kind of slithery and they can hide in things, stalks of broccoli, and they've gotten a bad rap. But it's just something to be aware of. When you go, if you go in the desert out in Arizona and stuff, you got to be careful. You don't, you got to give them their space. Snakes, got to know just when they're ready to strike and when they're not, and just let them go their way and you go your way, and don't have anything to, don't irritate them. They're reptiles. Anyway, I've always been fascinated by snakes. So anyway, yeah, scams. So I thought that was interesting. So, you've got to evaluate everything now. Don't take anything for granted, whether, you're going. So I had this happen to me this week. Let's just suffice it to say that the best way to go, if you have something that you want to get, you want to put out there and get out of your living room, right? Say furniture, stuff like that. And you think, might be a good idea to sell it, make a few bucks, and then you try to do that, and obviously the universe doesn't want you to do that, because when you put it out there, then, the snakes come out of the woodwork. The snakes. You know, the little, like in The Mummy, those little bugs. You know, that's a better imagery. You know, all those little, like, what's his name? Who's in the Mummy there? Love that movie. The guy who was in The Whale. I can't remember his name right now. One of my favorite actors, and I can't remember his name because I wasn't going to talk about it till I got out here. But I've always loved that scene, you know, where he's in like the pyramid or something, and all the black bugs come out of the woodwork. You know that? Oh my gosh, that was powerful. Kind of like that, you know. Like you know, you start unearthing things, and all the little come out of the woodwork. So you know, and so then I put this thing out, you know, on one of the social media platforms. I won't say which one. And then I get all these, like, you know, all these bugs coming out asking me to, like, text them and, you know, and all this stuff. Oh, text me your code. Yeah, right. I did a little research. Don't do it. That's all I want to say about that. Anybody, see, and the thing is it's taking the moral high ground, they're pretending that you are the one that they can't trust, right? That's the little mind switch that's going on. It's like, oh, you know, if I'm going to buy from you, I got to make sure that you're legit. But I'm the one putting the ad out. I'm the one with the thing, but they're the one questioning me. So it's kind of like, you know, the priest, people pretending to be the priest and, you know, saying, give me money, right? It'll mess with your head. So don't think about it. Just say, I'm not doing it. So I'm like, okay, being Gen X, I did my homework, okay? This is what, you don't mess with Gen X. I said, oh, that's a good one. Nice try. You actually got me. You actually got me to approach and think about it. And then I got just so far. So I kind of fell for the, you know, I investigated the bait, you know, and I nearly fell for it. And then I go on and I Google it, search it. Oh, so I'm like, now, why do you need this information? And they're like, oh, we got to prove you're not a scam. I said, okay, did it? Sorry, this is a scam. Gig's up. I didn't hear anything. All of a sudden, it got very quiet. So then I went and deleted the other 9, you know, scammers who tried to get to me. And then I went on, and it tells you what to do if you think you've been scammed, you know. And I was this close. And I went and so I took care of it so that I'm safe now. So anybody trying to scam me, you are not going to succeed because I've got guides watching out for me. Stop raining. Yeah, so, you know, you got to be shrewd. But my BS meter is finely tuned from years of not believing crap. From years of, and also falling for things over the years, you know. You make enough mistakes, after a while your sniffer gets really good. So, you scammers, you're not going to succeed, all right? Teflon. Stay away from me. Just say no, okay? So all you have to do is just stand your ground and say no and move on. So that's kind of like the readings for today. Yeah, Ezekiel. God has made him the watchman for the house of Israel. So he's a prophet, right? So there are some people throughout history God has been able to get through to, right? You know, who aren't, in today too. There's certain people, you know, whether you're listening to this, maybe you're one of them. You know, certain people feel like they have a calling to speak out about things. You know, you kind of feel like you're here for a reason and you've got stuff to say, and you know, maybe you're, you know. So God's saying, you know, right? If God sends a warning to people who are on the wrong path, right? And if they, but you've got these people, kind of like, kind of like when you play that game Stratego when we were kids. Now, still, my boys, I played it with my boys. And you have, two opposing armies, right? And then you have spies that kind of go out ahead, to scout out and come back and report on what's going on, right? It's kind of like, those are the prophets. They were kind of like the scouts, the spies who went out, get a lay of the land, come back. This is what's going on, and warning people what's coming up, right? Certain people have always been, able to spot things before other people get wind of it, and warn them. Go back and warn the army, or warn your camp, this is what's going on, right? But, people throughout history have not always believed the scouts, the prophets, at their own risk. So God said, okay, so if you're in the army and you're a scout, God's saying, it's your job to tell people, hey, you might be headed the wrong way. And if they don't listen, right, then they go at their own risk, right? If they don't hear God and they don't hear the people God sends, right? Jesus was one of those people, and a lot of people didn't believe Jesus. A lot of people did, and they were saved. And a lot of people didn't, It's that God communicates to all of us, but sometimes we're blocked, right? We have these, these blinders on, and it's not our fault, but it's up to us to kind of figure out how to, make ourselves available. So, anyway, so this is the way I see it. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm just interpreting, my view of the world as I see it. And that's all anybody can do. Nobody's going to have my view. You might not like what I have to say. You might hear some stuff and go, she's entertaining. There's always something going on. I'll tell you what I experience and you can take it or leave it. I got music. Oh. So, so that's that. If today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. Yeah. So, God sends us little clues, depending on where you are, on the ladder, on the path, you're going to get different clues, and the higher up you go, so you raise your energy, right? You eat better, you figure out how to feel better, and then you slowly get there, figure out what you need to do to get where you want to go, So, anyway, yeah, so, and then, God makes it really simple. Just learn to love yourself and treat other people that way, like, and the more people, in other words, as you go along, you find out the people who see things the way you do, right? And you're drawn to each other because you have similar imprints, like stamp. Like you're all going to you went to the same concert and you've got the same stamp on your hand, right? And you're like, oh, you went to that concert too? Only when you come into this life, you get a stamp. And you got to find the same people who are going to the same show, right? And sometimes you find people and they're like, oh, no, we don't have the same stamp. And you just don't resonate because they're, whatever. Move on. Just, no. And you know it. Like with me, it's pretty instantaneous. It's like, I got my reunion coming up. I got my 40th high school reunion. Hi guys. If anybody out there from my class listening, they've given us a date of Thanksgiving weekend, Saturday, and a place, and we're, I don't know if I'm going yet. I guess we'll see who else is going. See how I feel a week before. But anyway, no, it's kind of like, there's people, like I look at the list, I'm like, do I know these people? I have certain friends I'd love to see, but I don't know if they'll be there, you know? And maybe I'll go and just, maybe I'll get to know some other people. But by this point, 40 years out, you're like, you know, I didn't know this person in high school. Am I really gonna, if we didn't connect back then, I don't know. You get to this point, you're like, what am I gonna get out of this? I guess I'll get some funny stories, for my books. So maybe I'll go just for that. Might be worth $75. Anyway, yeah, more on that. So anyway, the more people, right, that you find that have the same stamp, and then the higher up you can go together. See, this is what I'm finding. And as above, so below. So if you do your work with these people, right, you can get to a higher place instead of just waiting till you die. You can do it now. Just saying. And so the song, so with all this, it was Matthew 18, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I think that just love one another as yourself thing, that takes a little thinking about, because I always thought, yeah, how can I love I kind of love myself, I do, but how do I guess what you do is you realize other people are human, even though they have different attributes, they have different appearance, they might have different religion, but you accept all that because it's like you're all on the same tree, right? We're all part of God. We just are different branches, of the same tree, right? So people over there on that branch, you're there on your branch, and you're all growing together, right? You don't hate the other parts of the tree because, it's all the same body, the same, right? Just different reflections of God, but all the same tree. So, what's the song? Oh, I said Paula Abdul. Yeah. Okay, so they don't make them like this anymore. Oh my gosh. I said, I totally forgot about how much I love Paula Abdul. She kicked Richard Marx out off the Billboard list. He was there for 3 weeks with Right Here Waiting for You in 1989. Let's see. So 88, her album Forever Your Girl came out, which is I didn't own it, but I loved every song on that album. I heard a bird. Paula Abdul, my girl. Everybody wanted to dance like Paula Abdul. I mean, I was going to like aerobics and stuff like that, and go out and dance. I'd be like, "Ow, I want to dance like Paula Abdul," because she was so cool, right? So this is the one. Because the reading was, if today you hear his voice, harden not your hearts. I thought, oh, harden hearts, cold cold-hearted. See how my twisted, nostalgia-oriented, stuck in the 80s brain works. Yeah, I'm like stuck in 1989. June 2nd, 89, Cold-Hearted came out. And the video. So, they don't make them like that anymore. It was inspired by Fosse, Bob Fosse. I guess, I don't remember this, but there was this movie, All That Jazz, came out in 79. I don't remember. I vaguely remember the songs that came out from it. But apparently, for the video, they drew on that movie, and she's got her fishnets, and she's dancing. And they're on the scaffolding, doing splits, Look at that. We got autumn leaves. We got autumn leaves coming out. Let's see. I saw some pretty ones on the way over, but I'm not seeing them now. But Yeah, the autumn leaves are here. Anyway, so yeah, they're doing the yeah, Fosse. I think he was associated with the, Chicago. My cousin's daughter majored in theater, musical theater, at the Hart School here in Hartford, Connecticut. She's in New York now. Dances. She actually dances on Broadway. Like, I don't think she's been in a Broadway play, but she's been in like children's theater. She's done productions. She's a performer. Anyway, she's in with that Broadway scene, um, and she dances. She posts on Instagram that, she does the kicks and the whole thing. Love it. Love that girl. Well, she's my cousin's oldest daughter. So she's 30, was she born in 91? So, yeah, she was our flower girl at our wedding. Awesome. Choreography. So she was in a production of Chicago back, it was here in Connecticut a few years ago. So that was awesome. Yeah, so Forever Your Girl. That's the album it came off of. So in September of '89, it was the number one on the Billboard Hot 100. I'll double check that. But yeah, she kicked Richard Marx off. Oh, I remember that song, Right Here Waiting. I mean, it was, oh. Anyway, the lyrics. So, but the thing, all the world's a candy store. He is trick-or-treating, that whole stuff. He don't play by rules. He's got cold in his eyes. And the violin. Oh, man, what a song. So, the way she dances in that video is how I imagine I'm dancing in my basement. In my old running shorts and my old running shirts. And I'm out there, in my mind, I'm Paula Abdul, Anyway, in my imagination. But, it brings me back to a time when, I was dating these guys, There was this one guy I had been kind of going off and on steady with since college, since like junior year in college. And then by the time I was out of college, we were kind of dating on and off, but sort of steady, and still in kind of '89. It was sort of a weird thing, it's kind of like when you're in your 20s, that one boyfriend that's kind of bad news and you know it, but you can't kind of, you're seeing this person and that person and you're still kind of curious, but they're, that's the one you take to the weddings and the respectable business kind of person, but then they blow you off all the time and they're kind of not reliable and you're waiting by the phone, so that song came out when I was with him. And, and I remember this one time, he took me out to our usual place where we went every Saturday night, and we did the dancing thing, and I was his, like, the one he always took dancing, right? And we'd go and we'd dance. And so one week was when I had been working, and I was meeting guys at work that, were just work colleagues or whatever. But there was, a lot of them were a lot older than me, like way older. This boyfriend was 2 years older than me. So he was about my age, although he's a boomer. But one time we were out and one of these guys from work showed up, and he was like 5 or 6 years older than me, way older. And so my boyfriend there, my friend, boyfriend at the time, he was distracted and talking to somebody else, and I was talking. This guy shows up at our dancing place and starts talking to me. And I had come with, my boyfriend. And my boyfriend sees me talking to that, guy. And he had his so my boyfriend at the time, he had really nice cars, He had like a Mustang, and he had like a white, like a Crown Vic. He used to take me out, This other guy, he had a Pinto, or an Escort. No, that's what it was. It was an Escort. So he would talk a big game, and he'd try to get, like, new, younger women would come into the office, and he'd show, psst, go after them. So my boyfriend was like, saw me talking to him, and he pitches a fit. He's like, takes me out to the parking lot. He's like, that guy's a snake. He's like, you're not gonna go out with that guy. He's clearly a snake. And I'm like, well, maybe I will, you know. Anyway, but he was right. Yeah, he was a snake, and so that didn't, neither one ended up lasting. But the snake guy was clearly not a good thing for me. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I think about when I hear the song. Oh my gosh. So sometimes we're so hung up on, like, just being open to people that we can be vulnerable to, scams and things. So anyway, that's my little story. Yeah. So anyway, I got stories for another time, but that's it for this week. I made some garlic shrimp stir fry with asparagus and thing, but I think I'm going to give that to my husband, and maybe I'll make turkey tostadas. But anyway, well, humid. So until next week, that's it for the Zazoo Report. Take care, and, stay away from the cold-hearted snakes and the scam artists. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.